the smartest sports YouTuber, back with another video. And in this video, I'm going to tell you why the Cincinnati Bengals are better than the overrated, pathetic Miami Dolphins. Now, I know Miami Dolphins fans are delusional and they don't think this, and they think the Dolphins are somehow going to win the AFC East, even over the Bills, when they've never beaten Josh Allen in their life. But that's how delusional Miami fans are. But I'm just here to tell you the facts. And the facts are the Bengals are better. And I'll give you the reasons. First of all, Miami's defense will take a step back this year. They're not going to create as many turnovers as they did last year. I expect Xavier Howard to be back, even though they handled the situation terribly. I expect Xavier Howard to still be with the team. The Bengals defense is a lot better than it was last year. I think the Bengals defense is going to surprise a lot of people. So when people wanted to bring up the struggles in camp, they also didn't want to mention the fact that the defense was playing great. And the Bengals secondary should be a top 10 secondary in the league with the people they have. Mike Hilton, the best slot corner in the game. You have Chidobe Awuzie, who's been balling in camp. He's only like 25 years old. He was a high draft pick, raw talent. So he's got talent. Trey Waynes, they signed last season to a big deal. And he got hurt before the season started last season, and he's never played for the Bengals. So that also helps. You have Jesse Bates, the best safety in football. You have Von Bell, another good safety. So the secondary's legit. Secondary's really good. Linebackers, that is the weakness of the defense. Logan Wilson's in his second year. You expect him to take a little step up. And also you have Akeem Davis-Gaither and Marcus Bailey. So yeah, they have three guys going in their second year, so you expect a little jump, but yeah, the linebacking core is definitely the weakness of the defense. Interior D-line is the strength. Besides the secondary, is obviously the biggest strength. I mean, you have a lot of bodies on the interior D-line. You have Wren, you have a Tyler Shelvin they just drafted, who's basically a 400-pound sumo wrestler just to clog up running lanes. You have obviously DJ Reader, who was one of the best run defending D tackles in the league when he signed, and you could tell early on last year he made a big impact early, and then he got hurt obviously. They just drafted Joseph Asai. He'll get some pass rush opportunities. Sam Hubbard is the best edge run stopper. That is a fact. Look at the numbers. That's a fact. And on the other edge, they just signed Trey Hendrickson. So, obviously he had a really good year in New Orleans. So their D-line should be pretty good. And their secondary is really good. Their linebacking core is pretty weak, but overall this defense is going to take a major step up. They're going to surprise a lot of people, and so obviously the defense for the Dolphins is still better, but the gap is nowhere near where it was last year. Nowhere near. The Dolphins are going to take a little step back on defense. The Bengals are going to jump up on defense, and that's a fact. Now, if we go to the offensive line, people want to dog the Bengals and make it seem like the Bengals are incompetent. They don't know how to build a line, and they've tried their best to build lines. I mean, if you look at the Bengals' previous draft picks, you had years when you had Cedric Ogbuehi in the first round, Jake in the second round. You had Billy Price in the first round. So they've tried to build their offensive line. But anyways, if we're comparing O-lines, who's better, Jonah Williams or Austin Jackson? Both the left tackles for both teams. Obviously, Jonah Williams is a lot better than Austin Jackson. That's not even close. Now you have Riley Reif as right tackle or Liam Eichenberg. Even though I think in camp he's actually playing guard, he's not playing right tackle. But if we're comparing those two, Riley Reif is clearly better than Liam Eichenberg right now. And if we go to center, Trey Hopkins is better than any center the Dolphins have. That's probably the worst part of their line. So, and the guards, you could edge it out to Dolphins or Bengals. But anyways, the Bengals clearly have the better center and the two better tackles. Those are the facts. So there's O-line. If we look at receivers, who am I going to take? Jamar Chase over Jalen Waddle? Yes, Jamar Chase is better than Jalen Waddle. Those are the facts. And if we look at Tyler Boyd and what you want to compare him to, Albert Wilson, I'm taking Tyler Boyd. Now I'll take Will Fuller over Tyler Boyd, obviously, but T. Higgins, I'm taking over Devontae Parker. So if we look at receivers, if we look at the top three Bengals receiver, obviously you have Auden Tate as the fourth, and Austin Taylor's been killing it in camp, but I doubt he's going to actually make an impact during the season. He could, but I doubt it. So if we look at the top three receivers for each team, I'm taking the Bengals. Maybe you could say in depth for receivers, you could take the Dolphins. But yeah, when it comes to top 3 receivers, I'm taking the Bengals receivers. Now, if we look at running back, Joe Mixon versus their carousel running backs, I don't think it's close. Obviously, we know Joe Mixon's better. Yeah, if Joe Mixon gets hurt, then obviously the run game for the Bengals wouldn't be nearly as good. So, yeah, Joe Mixon's obviously better than any Dolphins running back. We don't really have to discuss that. And the biggest difference, you could say the Dolphins' overall team has more talent than the Bengals, and you'd probably be right. But the biggest difference comes in the most important position, the quarterbacks. And Joe Burrow is clearly better than Tua Tagovailoa. And the funny thing is about people panicking about, no, it's not even panicking. It's about Dolphins fans overblowing this Burrow situation early in camp. He had one padded practice and Dolphins fans were already ripping him like, oh, see, look, he's coming off an injury and he's struggling. The difference is Joe Burrow hasn't even started this season. Tua struggled during the season and at the end of the season. So he had a lot more time to recover from his injury. And it's just a coincidence that all of a sudden Joe Burrow today has his best practice of training camp by far. He had a really good day at training camp. So people wanted to freak out, but Joe Burrow has over a month until the regular season starts. And that's his focus. I want him to play in a couple drives in preseason, but it's all about week 1, and Joe Burrow will be ready for week 1. Even if he's 90-95%, you rely on Mixon early, and then you get Joe Burrow involved, play action to start off. Even if he's not the same for the first 4 weeks of the season, that's still better than Tua. You can limit Joe Burrow the first 4 weeks of the season. That gives him an extra month off. Even though he'll still do good the first 4 weeks, but yeah, it's a long season, 16 weeks, so Joe Burrow will have ups and downs, but he'll have more ups and less downs than Tua Tagovailoa. That is facts. Tua Tagovailoa is trash. That's why his name is Tagovailoa. He is a bum. He is overhyped. He is a bust. The most overhyped bust in NFL history. Tank for Tua, but the Dolphins are tanking with Tua because Tua is holding them back, and those are the facts. And I know Miami Dolphins fans are the most pathetic fan base in National Football League, and those are the facts. If you deny that, then you're a Dolphins homer, you're a Fins dick rider, and you know it. Those are the facts. All I say are facts on this channel. You can try to debate, but it won't work out because I'll school you. I'm smarter than any Dolphins fans out there. Those are facts. I own the Dolphins fan base. I am disappointed in the Dolphins fan base for how trash they are. And if we want to talk about organizations, the way people talk about the Bengals, you would think the Dolphins are a way better organization than the Bengals. But if we look at the past 20 years, the Bengals have been better than the Dolphins consistently. How many times have the Dolphins made the playoffs in the past 20 years? Like one time? Now look up how many times the Bengals have made the playoffs. A lot more than the Dolphins. And you can't debate those facts because those are what I just called them. Facts. Dolphins fans are pathetic. And you want to keep arguing about Tua. You want to make every excuse for him. You want to say the offensive coordinator was out to get him. Oh, Fitzpatrick was out to get him too. His offensive line sucked. His receivers sucked. Well, now this year he has good receivers. He has a slightly improved O-line. That's the weak point, but I guarantee that will be their excuse when Tua struggles. And he has a new offensive coordinator that is playing to his strengths. Tua's picking up the playbook better than anyone on his team because he's playing to Tua's strengths. He's making Tua feel comfortable, more comfortable than the rest of his team. So, yeah, no excuses this year, Dolphins fans. If Tua stinks it up, they won 10 games last year thanks to Ryan Fitzpatrick, who led them in a comeback against the Raiders when Tua got benched. Those are the facts. But Ryan Fitzpatrick isn't there anymore. The Dolphins' defense isn't going to dominate like it did last year, so Tua might actually have to go out and win some games, and we know he won't do that. People point out one game from Tua last year, and that's the Cardinals game. That's their almighty game from Tua. That was Joe Burrow did that plenty of times last year. He had 3 games better than that in 9 games. He had 3 games better than that. And if you want to count Washington as a 10th, you can, but he obviously got hurt at the start of the second half. But yeah, Joe Burrow had plenty of better games than Tua's best game, which was the Cardinals game. And the Cardinals' defense was trash. Their secondary, their pass defense was trash. So keep buying this Tua hype. You guys are pathetic, and I'll just leave that video off there. I can't wait for the season to start and prove that I'm right. Dolphins will start off 1-4. Like I said, the Dolphins will win 7-8 games this year. 9 if they're super lucky. But yeah, the Dolphins are a 7-8 win team. They're the most disappointing team in the league. They're the most overrated team in the league. And the Bengals are around a 9-10 win team. So yeah, the Bengals are better than the Dolphins. Main reason, the quarterback spot. And so yeah, I'll just leave the video off there. We'll see what happens during the season. Make sure to come back to the channel and apologize. I'll accept your apology during the season, don't worry, but you know what it is. You just listen to the smartest sports YouTuber on the planet. That's a fact. And I'm out.